Hello there, people of the internet. It's your boy, Skinny Penis. Another replay review. Got an insanely great game in Schliefen. So we're going to go through it a bit, explain a bunch of shit, talk about a bunch of stuff, and also I'm probably going to do a another video, basics video on the Schliefen as well. Because it's just like a battleship that I quite like and enjoy. Fits the playstyle on battleships that I appreciate more. Something more forward, close to the enemy. I don't really appreciate sniping and BBs, so yeah. But this game, yeah, obviously it's going to be an insanely good performance and also hard carry. But I mean, if you look at the matchmaking here, it is pretty helpful, let's say. There's barely any torpedo DD. Akizuki isn't really a torp threat. Haaland can be annoying, but the thing with Haaland is that it has obviously no smoke. So if he's caught open water, or if I catch him in general or he shoots, I can maybe secondary him down. Salmon isn't as big of a threat as a tier 10 submarine, that's obvious. And the cruisers are also just, let's say, shit. Those cruisers don't really have DPM, or if they have DPM like Seattle, Cleveland, they just get fucked by me, by secondaries, main guns, doesn't really matter. They're just not meant to actually fight a Schliefen. Yodo is obviously a disaster. Napoli doesn't have a DPM either. Johann de Witt can be a bit annoying with the bombs, but I mean, it's still a normal Johann. It doesn't have the bomb, let's say, autistic bomb levels or bomb spam levels as a Lechguden. Lechguden would actually be a problem. Battleship-wise, obviously, like Bismarck is a kind of a free kill. Thundera, I have to catch it close. Vincent kind of too. Yamato is, let's say, less of a problem. Problem with Thunder and Vincent is most likely the HE spam. So the idea here is, since there's no carrier and there's no correct tier 10 sub on this flank, but rather only a Salmon, I will just try to go forward as fast as possible. I spawned on the proper side for Schliefen. On this map, like a mid-spawn is kind of okay. This flank here is the best because the forward islands are actually allowing me to play extremely aggressive. And, well, we already have the Haaland spotted. He also opens up on our Kagero. So, I mean, in this scenario, you can just stay flat to the Haaland. He doesn't really have a torpedo angle from there. I mean, obviously, he's also turning away and fighting the Kagero, so he won't have a torp angle. But if I just keep going towards the islands, even if he has fast torps, he won't ever get an angle on me. So this push to the islands is actually quite feasible if there's no CV. And not that many crazy kite HE spam cruisers and stuff. So since I offer hydro, since I have torpedoes and secondaries, me locking like a forward position is quite good, to be fair. Here, for some reason, the torpedoes home in like retardedly crazy on the Haaland, Haaland gearing, the Kagero, so they randomly do a 90-degree turn and stop me from going to island. But also the advantage of this island is, since the torpedo DD went for the cap, which is brain damaged, by the way, like A cap is very unlikely that you get it for free, it's way too close range, and you can also immediately die there. So since he went for A, I now get time to kite out on the flank, not have to worry about a torpedo DD on the 1-2 line, and get an angle with my secondaries from kite, and my torpedoes as well, on the Bismarck and the Vincent, theoretically. The Bismarck here actually not that stupid. He's turning in. He's trying to seek cover, like I tried to in the beginning, where I tried to dive the islands. And essentially, it's gonna save him. Like, now I can't kill him. If he would have turned out or would have continued towards the flank and taken a fight with me, he would have just died for free. There's no way he wins that. So I was unspotted. Now I'm spotted again. So now the question is it the sub somewhere on my right, or is it the Haaland? And slowly but surely, I also start realizing that it's the Haaland, because if it would be anything towards A, it would cap A, so it can't be there. So it must be the Haaland on my right here. So I check if the Vincent kind of aims for me or not. He does not. He doesn't care. The Bismarck beached himself, so I can just gamer turn in and go back in. I have Hydro on for 50 more seconds, so probably I will spot a Haaland set, and I will actually spot a Haaland set. And then afterwards I'm going to do the exact same that I did in the beginning, dive towards the islands again, because the timing of the torpedoes won't allow the Haaland to torpedo me again. It's kind of the the thought process. Also, the Johann de Witt just fucked off. But the Johann de Witt couldn't really fight me in any case. I would just shred through him. So interestingly enough, like the Bismarck, the Vincent, and the Johann are all trying to dodge the fight, which is smart. I mean, around those islands, close range to me, all of those ships would essentially die in a 1v1. Like, this is what I'm trying to achieve here with the islands. Get dedicated 1v1s. Like, for example, now I would dive in. The Vincent couldn't shoot me if I dive towards the left island, but maybe I can isolate the Bismarck or the Johann. I mean, those two ships I could even take on 2v1s, so it doesn't really matter. Thankfully, both teams are obviously playing extremely passive. As said, the boats that are playing here are not really like a hard counter to me, most of them. It's pretty easy to play against them, and the most problematic boats, like the base camping Thunder and Yamato, are on the other side. As you can see, I'm still lit, so the Haaland is on the right. I dodged the torp sets, and I'm just essentially accelerating through. I thought the Bismarck would be coming in front of the island, but he actually reversed and got away. Like towards the right side here. I mean, thinking like he's either on the right or he's towards the left where the Johann goes, like between the island and me now. But yeah, Bismarck got decent timing here and dodged me. And so now that the Vincent is actually in base, I'm kind of want to dive the island here. I mean, capping is not really feasible yet, because I mean, I'm just gonna be lit. The Vincent theoretically could cut out and HE spam me, so there's no real point to shoot here. I'm just gonna dive the island and wait until anything gets spotted. Like, I need to know where the Bismarck is. The Bismarck is way too sus in terms of position. He hasn't spotted since like 2 minutes. So, I mean, as I said, he could be either on the one line, towards one line, or he could be behind those islands and run away to base. Could both be things he's doing. But yeah, like shooting the Vincent here and alerting him wasn't really smart. Now I can do it because it seems like he's going to push into the middle. So that means he also just shot. So that means he's just gonna go and leave the angle. He's gonna bring an island in between me and him, which is pretty good for me because like Vincent and Thunder are definitely the issue here. Since I'm also running a non-fire prevention Schliefen, but rather a 4 heal one, which is probably a better spec for randoms. Even though like if you get full tier 10 matchmaking and stuff or carrier games, fire prevention is generally a better choice actually in dropping the heal. Like fire prevention specs generally tend to deal better with the one trick pony send and end move, where you just send it in and try to get as much damage. This spec here obviously deals better with these lower tier matchmakings, tier 8, 9, where you will stay alive for very long and you just get way more sustain through 5 DCPs. But yeah, the Johann de Witt gets caught. I mean, I personally think Schliefen main guns are way too potent for the secondary power that it brings in the torps. Like, I don't know where the meme came from that Schliefen has no main guns. They are trolly, but overall still too consistent in my opinion. Slightly, let's say. But then again, the ship does have enough drawbacks that it's not completely overpowered. It's just obnoxious to deal with because it's so, let's say, easy to play. Yeah, there's like no player input needed. So yeah, the Vincent fucked off. The Bismarck inted behind me. I have the Akizuki in Hydro. The sub gets spotted, so obviously we're just like fucking on it now. And the Haaland torps are once again dodged, and exactly now that they're dodged, I turn left, and I will just run it into the middle. Like, I have no dealings with that Haaland. My Kagero is on 100 HP since a while, so like, there's no reason for me to stay here. I'm just gonna run it middle, and I can also just do it exactly now, because the Haaland won't have another set in time. Actually, I'm going dark, which makes it extremely weird again to guess where the Haaland is. I mean, the only thing I know is that he's not going to be exactly, he's not going to be going towards spawn, probably behind me. Since I didn't perfectly see where the shells came from, I thought about torping, but then again, there's a brawl gonna be going down in the middle, and I mean, from here on out, you will see why Schliefen is so fucking retarded and disgusting with the secondaries. Because, I mean, as I said, like, all these boats that are left, they can't really do shit to me. Like, Seattle, Kyoto, and Cleveland, unless they get a angle on me, all three at once, they will never kill me. If I can single out the fights, I will just kill them for free. The Vincent is ignoring me, and the Thunderer has an island in between me and him. So, from now on, I'm just trying to keep islands in between me and, like, I can show it with my mouse. Like, I'm trying to keep this island in between me and the group here. So I can single out the Vincent, and anything that comes into C. I kind of want to go to the right here. Here. So I can, when they come in, I can fuck them out. And single out the fight. And the island essentially means that I'm not going to get farmed by Cleveland, Seattle, or Thunder. As you can see here, the secondaries are just melting through people. This Yodo did a little oopsie. He's going to come around the corner now, which essentially means he dies. The secondaries are not only going to rip through him with damage and fires, they're also going to disable all his main guns, most likely. Yodo turrets don't tank small caliber HE or SAP at all. Like, they tank nothing, they're just shit. But yeah, you will see here. First gun is broken. It's already on 2 fires. Secondaries are getting kind of like 2000 damage every 2-3 seconds. Another gun locked. DCP from him was down. Now he's another fire. Like, it's just, he's dead. I mean, it's also another gun broken. We have like, what, 4 turret in caps on him now. So yeah, the Yodo died very fast, just to me. And now the Vincent is coming around. So I once again have a 1v1 here. And I can just park. The Haaland actually took the wrong route. I mean, it was kind of interesting because he didn't really know where my Kagero would go. But he probably knew the Kagero was low. So he chose to try and get the Kagero out, which is free kill for him if he catches him, and then he can take the cap back. Not a stupid play. Smart. But yeah, I mean, the issue is that at the same time, his teammates are kind of sending it one by one into me. So yeah, now I'm just gonna sit here. I will keep sitting here, or I want to keep sitting here now until something touches C or comes around my ass. I mean, from what I could see is like, they are down on points, they're up on ships, so my guess was the Thunderer would definitely go it into C and try to cap it or block it. And here I get like definitely lucky, because he's gonna come around my asshole. Yep, there you see it. And he had HE loaded, which is lucky, because like if he had AP here, I may have eaten citadels and the game would have turned out way worse for me. But I get enough time to accelerate away. And obviously we're not DCPing the torp tubes here because he could be shooting HE again. Or he could also be shooting AP and citadeling me and getting an engine damage. So we just keep... here you torp towards the right. You torp here. So if he continues to get an angle on me, because I want to run behind the island... If he wants to run behind me and get an angle, he has to eat the torps, and if he noses in, he can only use 2 of his turrets. So then I can just out-trade him even easier with the secondaries. Also, if he's nose in, it's actually, at this range, better for you secondaries, because you get more damage on the nose, because if you would be flat that close, you would shoot the main armor belt. So yeah, he's just melting in my secondaries. I even knocked the turret. They're just coming in one by one, and essentially that's... 3 kills for Schliefen. Like, it's that's what your ship is meant to do. Fuck people, close range 1v1. And these people are not even like smart. But they're not even going on smart about doing so, pushing me. So here, Thunder just inted. Kettle tries to get cap, pretty smart. I'm not just trying to hunt him. Like, he's full HP, I need to get him out. Takeshi's castle in the middle and Sturdy are doing like weird shit. Randomly the Cleveland pops up, flat broadside beached. He actually disconnected or left the game, I don't know. I mean, at some point it was a 3v6, I think, before I killed the Vincent. Yeah, what is this, 3v6? So, I mean, maybe he just autopiloted himself into the island and thought the game was won. But I was full HP and I had like 3 heals and 4 DCPs in the middle, so... There was still a chance for me, especially with those boats. Like Seattle, Cleveland, Thunder, none of them have a chance to actually rush me with torpedoes or block me with torps. Like, only their Haaland that could theoretically stop me. So now it's the question, do I get the cap or do I keep chasing? And obviously, because the Takeshi's Castle and the Sturdy are in risk of dying to a full HP Seattle. Like, I mean, Seattle is shit, but Takeshi's Castle is even worse. And my Sturdy doesn't seem to be the smartest guy in the universe either. So Takeshi's Castle is also less than half HP. Seattle has a lot of DPM, so I'm just gonna try and chase him so the Seattle can't take a good fight with the Takeshi's Castle, and maybe the Sturdy gets to live as well. I mean, either through confusing the Seattle or through killing the Seattle, just getting the Seattle off the Sturdy. Actually sending ASW planes, and my AA shoots them down. Like, it's pretty fucking disgusting when that happens, actually. You get the sub spotted because the sub is a retard. Like, my sub was spotted there because he's spastic. And he can't drop him with ASW because I'm sitting inside this ASW drop with my medium to short range AA, which means I actually shoot down the plane. So he has like no way of killing him. It's actually stupid. But yeah, I'm trying to chase him here, but he's pretty smart about it. Like he's just trying to obviously disengage. He cannot essentially ever fight me. But if I keep going to the left hardcore here, I will get an angle for a while. Like I will get a decent amount of damage. My secondaries are essentially blasting through him already. He also seemed to have DCP the submarine ping or some shit, so he gets set on a triple fire and takes it Burma, which is just stupid. But yeah, beach myself, just trying to get the widest angle possible. And also I don't know where the Haaland necessarily is, so I'm gonna stay here between the islands. Interestingly enough, I'm not spotted though, so that, and the torp were somewhere up here, so that means the Haaland is still over there. Not like going into the base, which would have probably cost me the game here, because if the Haaland sits behind me in base, he can torp me. I mean, again, the Takeshi's castle would have probably lived, and or maybe even gotten into A, so it's probably an even freer win then. I don't know. But yeah, now the goal is obviously to run it back at the Seattle. We're doing the same thing again. Trying to catch the Seattle somehow. I mean, for me, it's just run at that guy for free. The only thing I have to care about is a Haaland getting torpedo angles on me while I'm running at the Seattle, which is very unlikely. The Seattle itself is not a threat. As said in the beginning, like the matchmaking is just perfect. There's barely any threat in the enemy team in general. Like you could have been fucked way more in carrier matchmaking with double sub and then like wider opener spawn or map. This one here is definitely what Schliefen wants to see. Sea of Fortunes A B side, with essentially trash boats fighting you. Yeah, so we already have a 330k by virtually just sitting somewhere and fucking people with secondary. I mean, with 800 secondary hits. Doesn't sound like a lot, but most of the ships that my secondaries hit had no armor, so that's like a lot of secondary damage. I haven't checked it. We can check it after the game how much it really is. Here I'm trying to probably protect my submarine against ASW strikes again. But now I also have to get into the cap. So it doesn't even matter if the Seattle dodges me by reversing, which he tries. I also have to get into the cap to stop the point bleed and get the cap ourselves. Because if I get the cap, it's essentially a free win. It's 2 caps to 1. We are still 100 points ahead and there's only 240 left. So very unlikely that they can still win if I get this cap now. Actually impossible unless they kill me for free, or the sub. And like every single second it becomes less likely that they win even if they get a kill and stay alive, because the B cap is still not contested. I would not know where the Haaland is. So yeah, the Seattle is spamming hydros and raiders around the island. He's trying to essentially dodge me. This is the thing with cruisers, specifically 30 mil cruisers and lower, also light cruisers. You just can't take a 1v1 with a Schliefen. It's just not a thing. A competent Schliefen player, if he singles you out, he just kills you for free. There's like no cruiser that wins that fight. Even heavy cruisers that tank you have a hard time. So yeah. Smart choice by him, really. So now that B's contested, we already know that it's probably the Haaland because the Seattle couldn't reverse that fast. So I'm just going to stay here and get the cap. And also, most likely torpedoes go through as they do here. With the second set, I get pretty lucky. Like, I shouldn't have accelerated here. Second set clips the island with the torp. And the Seattle is actually coming. It's also the second time, by the way, that Luchens procs this game with the fucking heal, which is, I mean, it's useless for BBs. But it was like 7k, 7k HP more from 2 times proc. Obviously it's meant for destroyers and submarines, not for battleships, but it's kind of funny that I get a bunch of value there. So now that the torps came from the left, but I'm still lit, my thought is that the Haaland is actually on the left. And now I'm unspotted, so I thought the Haaland is now behind the island on the left. That's completely retarded, because as you can see, my 5-2 AA range was already essentially here, so 6k MDD would have been spotted because he was still in the cap. So me just thinking that the Haaland is over there is obviously fucking bullshit, because he was on the right. Crazy though that he was actually that fast. Maybe it's a swift and silence Haaland. And yeah, he just torps it properly. That's just like shit anticipation. Actually brain damage, because you could have known that the Haaland has to be on the right or in front of you. So yeah, I die for free. That's less achievements for me. But as you can see, since I got C, since the Seattle killed himself into me, even if they have 2 caps now, the game was only lasting for, was it now, 15 more seconds. Our submarine is still AFKing, bloop bloop under the water, so we're going to win. And essentially I just walked through an entire enemy team with a Schliefen, having singled out 1v1s, dedicated 1v1s most of the game, everywhere. So yeah, just killing people for free. 18 fires actually, now that I see it. With secondaries, pretty disgusting. And yeah, that's pretty stupid. I mean, I also have an arsonist and a withera, even though I never loaded HE with my main guns. 800 secondary hits. We got 2 caps, we got the sub, we got the Akizuki killed with our Hydro and then the main guns, finished him off. We fucked on the Haaland a bit, team score wise, where, I mean, essentially it was a one-man army on this map. My team definitely had a bit of brain damage, specifically my tier 10s were fucking shit, even though the matchmaking suited them a lot. Salem also could have done way more, I think, or Yinan, whatever. But yeah, essentially, step by step, dismantling all of these boats. What do we have? We have 156k secondary damage, actually. That's a lot for 800 hits. That means I virtually only had my secondaries on boats that I penetrate. Yeah, like this one is 51k, this one is 38 and 40 fires. A bit of secondary, that's 30k secondary damage. So yeah, as you can see, also killed the submarine all by myself, kind of. As you can see, like the moment you get these 32 millimeters or below armor scheme ships, just shred through them, you get 80k fire damage, just brain damaged. So yeah, I also lost only one secondary turret. That's also like an advantage. It's only not only that these ships don't deal damage to me properly or get fucked very easy. It's also that they just, apart from the 2 HE battleships, Vincent and Thunderer, don't really kill my secondary turrets. Like a Minnow or so, if I angle, it also deals little damage, but he just shreds through all my modules. So it's kind of always a bit shit to play against like something like San Martin Minnow. They can fuck your secondary turret, and if it's your first engagement, like that boat is the first engagement, even if you kill him, you may lose impact later on. Otherwise, I mean, pretty just bog standard, run it down, monkey mode, Schliefen game. That's kind of why you play it. You want to have these matchmakings, you want to get these games. It's not like a damage record or anything, but it's pretty great and correct game, given the fact I had 8 kills, and if I wouldn't have misplayed it against the Haaland, gotten some more achievements, maybe even catch the Haaland at the end there, I don't know. But yeah, that's it for a nice little Schliefen game, using the islands properly for your advantage. As a last, as essentially my closing argument, that gameplay is not only possible because of the nice nature of the enemies' ships and the matchmaking, but also mainly because there is no carrier. So like the moment you have a carrier, this entire gameplay changes. Essentially, you'd be forced to play the exact same and then just pray that the carrier doesn't hump you randomly, or there's maybe like no ledge gooden or some shit, so that you can actually use the islands and stay safe on them or unspotted. But yeah, so this one here is essentially what happens when there is no carrier. It allows me to play way more freely, and well, essentially those are the games I'm trying to get and gamble for when I play Schliefen. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to probably make a live commentary on Schliefen as well, because I really enjoy the boat in general. I always did, and I have tons of games on it. So yeah, see you in the next video, and take care.